All right. Yo, Catfish, Sammy, thank you guys for doing this. I was thinking about one day I was going through something difficult, and I had just like fallen, and it felt very public. And I remember walking down the road to go to the gym, and I saw you guys pulled up. And dude, it was like you encouraged me, and I know we hadn't seen each other in a minute, but we picked up right where we left off, and it was like a cup of cold water, dude, in a desert. And I was thinking about you, and how you've kind of always been like that towards me. Like when I needed it, like you were always there for me for some reason.
That's
like,
awesome.
A hand on the shoulder to pray, like. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, bro.
That's how I know that like God is always working in your life too, because you seem to be pretty in spirit, they call it, where like to give someone what they need when they need it is like a big deal, and it was a big deal to me. So I appreciate. And you guys are both a part of that. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep.
I went back for restoration, and I was going to the gym, and it was in Mesquite or something, but.
Yeah, it was Speedway. We actually stopped you at the Speedway, bro.
Dude, it was good. It was good. I was around a whole new group of people too, and it was like, you're just vulnerable, and to have like you guys there.
And then you reconnect.
Yeah,
definitely.
So it was cool. I appreciate that. And I was thinking more about you specifically in doing this. And one thing I've always admired about you is like your resilience. And I always knew that you had gone through hard things, and you did, like openly too. But I think you got a lot of crap too. Like people give you some crap,
Yeah.
But you always like carry that well.
I think it's because like I'm so like energetic and outgoing and stuff.
Yeah.
People just like to take shots to kind of knock me down a little bit to like bring them down. I'm not saying it is, but I've always thought that too, because it's like when I notice when I'm in a bad mood or irritated or something ain't really going the right way. Yeah. That I'll get irritated when I see someone like up on 10 and here I am at 4. I'm just sitting here like,
Yeah.
cool it, bro.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to think like that because I'm normally the person on 10 running around and, just happy-go-lucky.
Yeah.
And so, like, I really think that's part of it. But yeah, dude, you can't control what other people do, You only got your actions and how you handle stuff.
That's true. Do you think some of it, like you went through hard things, do you feel like God somehow was there? I know He was there for you during all that, but maybe would you talk about how He's helped you be more resilient, or like, is that a part of it?
I don't know. So like, life ain't been perfect, but I always consider myself a believer. Well, I knew God was real, and I guess before Teen Challenge, I would have said I was Christian, but then it took me going to Teen Challenge to actually like meet God and know who He was and His love for me. And I definitely wasn't a Christian before Teen Challenge, like just by my actions or by my fruits of my labor, like at all. But I know God was always there with His hand on me, and like the footprints in the sand you see one set walking down this, beach. Well, that was Him carrying me, so I know that's probably a part of it. But maybe more so after Teen Challenge, it was implemented, and I knew that He was a part of it, because I don't know. There's no denying the stuff that we've seen there, and just my biggest thing I think about is when Casey's sister was real sick with liver failure, and she was gonna die, bro. Like he got that phone call, and it was so bad. Like I think she had 10% chance, and she was about to go undercover for surgery, and this is like her 3rd time on her kidney or liver. I'm mistaken. I think it was her liver, and I remember we all held a prayer circle up there in the bathroom, the dorm bathrooms, where we used to dunk on people, and so we all prayed, dude, and he went back and called her, and dude, I get goosebumps just thinking about it and telling it every time I tell her. This ain't the first time. And he calls, and she's like miraculously healed, and you could feel that energy and that spirit moving in that bathroom that night. Like it was after lights out, and this is like a thing that we normally don't do. But they let us do it, for a good reason. And he called her that next day, and they redid another test just to make sure before they put her in the surgery, and her liver had already jumped up to like 80% from 10% overnight. Like just I could tell you the moment it happened, like, because you could feel it. You could just feel the spirit moving.
Really?
And yeah, and then they never gave her the surgery because she didn't need it. Her like liver was good, and you know, so whatever. And there's multiple things like that. Like that's.
What happened in the prayer circuit? You said you could feel something?
You could just feel the spirit moving. You could. I don't know. I can't explain it.
Was one guy praying? Multiple people?
Multiple. All interceding, intercessing for this girl. And Cori's her name, I believe.
Yeah.
And dude, it was so powerful. None of us had ever met this woman. You know what I mean? So it's not like our heartstrings are attached to her. But we had all met Casey and we all loved Casey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you could tell Casey was real upset. And dude, the power of prayer, it's so powerful. Like it's amazing.
How did that start, the prayer circle?
I'm not sure. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Pushka had us all come out. Pushka.
Yeah.
And I think because he was a junior, and you know he was probably down in the office with Casey when he made the call. I'm not sure who got it started, but we come out of our dorms and we all started praying, and one person, then another person, then there would just be some people in tongues over here in the spirit, and it was just all together in unison, dude. And you know, like I know God heard that. Like I know He was there. You know. More than two are gathered in prayer, you know, He's center stage.
What a cool moment,
dude. An amazing moment. Like, and that's the stuff that drives your faith. You know, how much better is the person who has faith when you ain't seeing it, but wow, dude, when you're like getting to witness it and be a part of it and all that, it's there's no denying Christ. Like you couldn't get me for $1 million to say He's not real or denounce Him, because you know, Lord of Lord, King of Kings.
Dude, I'm glad you said that, because one thing I had a question for you was we talked about you went to Teen Challenge before one time.
Yeah.
And I want to know what happens in someone's heart or in your heart. Like, what made you able to receive Him the second time, or like why do you think it worked?
I gave it a chance. The first time I didn't give it a chance. You know, I come in there just messed up. I've been up for like 2 weeks. Slept, and then I slept for the first 5 days I was there. Woke up, they tried to put me in a chapel service, and I got people speaking in tongues behind me, and people crying and hugging each other in front of me, and they're trying to love on me, and I don't want no part of them. I don't even want to be in. I don't even want to be around myself, bro. You know what I mean? And then I got these people telling me they love me that's never even seen me. I'll probably smell like crap because I ain't showered in 4 days. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah. And then you become the people that are.
Then you become those people, yeah, bro.
True.
You become those people.
Did you ever see Catfish while we were at Teen Challenge? Did you guys go through at the same time?
Nope. No, completely
different.
Separate. I got out in September of 2018, and then he went in November. And then I got out. When did you go to Hope House? Because I went
December of 19.
Okay, I graduated in May of 19.
Okay. What was your experience like when you first got there? What did you think? Or like, had you known God?
I'd kind of known God. Like, I thought I did, and like, I had like a really crazy incident. And I called out to God and said, "If you're real, prove it." And like, I ended up in jail and all this stuff, and I'd done 9 months in there, and then went to Teen Challenge. My lawyer told me not to do it because I'm not going to complete it, and I'm going to do longer in jail.
Yeah. Why did he think you'd complete it?
Just, he says that's how it goes with all his cases. Gets them in there and then they don't finish it.
Yeah, look how many people while we was there that just come in and they're right back out the door, you know.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
I didn't cry at all being in jail, but then my first day there, I'm sitting in the rock bed pulling like weeds out of him, and I started crying. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, I think about that stuff, like why people did come and go and what was different about us. Like, that's kind of what made me think about that heart thing, is like, I know I was ready because I was ready, you know, like, it was time, but
same, because like I was still telling people I'm gonna go to jail, get sober, go to Teen Challenge, and then get my life back in order. And so like I was ready. Like a lot of times when you're using stuff, you just come up with stories and ideas and stuff, but I was dead serious.
Yeah. And what brought you to that point? What you were in kind of a rough situation, or?
Yeah, I was homeless, just using hardcore, like completely alone. My family disowned me. Like it was bad, and I'd gone through a divorce is what like spiraled it into that and started it all. And
oh look, you got something.
then yeah, I was so alone. I'd gone to jail one time, and then I got out for a couple of months, and I got an ex parte order on Christmas for my daughter saying I couldn't take her. And I was sober, so I relapsed that day. Like, that was always my biggest trigger. And
your kids.
Yep. I was just so alone. And my chaplain actually is like a jail chaplain, and was in Newaygo. Her name's Amy, and she just wouldn't let me go. She, like, God put me on her heart, and she just was not letting go.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I started to get to know God in jail my first time, actually. Then I got out, and I still believed, and, I was still saved, but I wasn't living it. And so then the second time when I went in there, I was ready, and she actually kind of like helped me get in there and did all the process for me and helped me out.
Yeah.
But I was ready.
Do you still feel alone? Like, has God changed those feelings?
Completely.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just so loved now. Like, I'm so loved. Like, before I couldn't even fathom like God's love for me because I'd never experienced anything even remotely close.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, man, I am so loved that like, and God loves me 100 million times more than this.
Yeah.
And, like,
when you say you're loved, do you feel God's love through other people, through circumstances, or like how is that?
all of it.
Yeah,
Like,
everything.
Yeah, because like, especially I know like that's how it works is through people too. But like, just that everything that's going on in my life and all the stuff he's doing, it's just I'm blown away, and I'm just so grateful for everything that we have and each other. And just
that's awesome. I'm excited to ask you guys some questions about your relationship too, because as someone who's looking, or I was thinking about. So when I see a couple or something, God has been putting on my heart lately to really see that as one, it's like to value that more than myself. A collective, especially a family. And I don't know why that's been lately, but this is what God's been showing me. Are there things that you guys do as one that you never saw yourself doing? Like in God, is he teaching you things as a family that you didn't learn when you were single? Or is it pretty much the same of...
That's a good question. Like, I don't know, praying with the family and stuff, dinner tables or nighttime or, just even like before I'll feed her dish, we'll pray over her food too.
Yeah.
And I never would have thought, like I said, even before in my life, I never thought that I would be there. I don't know per se if like I've learned anything extra special just from being with the family.
Yeah.
But I also know that he's there because like we're two or more gathered, and we're there, overseeing everything, dude. It just started with little stuff, and then it became more and more and more. But it wasn't like we was just at the beginning praying over every little thing. But it definitely built up, and we feed off each other. Good ways and the bad ways too, like
dude, that's something I want to talk to you about too. When we spoke on the phone, I told you that I was excited that I love hearing stories of what God's doing in people's lives and what he's done. And you mentioned something that it wasn't all rainbows and unicorns. And there's been some hard times too.
Yeah, definitely.
Will you kind of talk about some of the hard times?
Yeah, so I guess I just like the start of my testimony, so I was molested at the age of 11, and I got made fun of in school for it.
Your kids knew?
Yeah, there was kids in the room when it happened, and then I lived in a pretty bigger city, so like we had 6 different elementary schools, and there was kids that went to each one of these different elementary schools. There was 3 kids in the room, and they all went to different ones. Well, then our junior high and high school, it combined into one building from those 6 elementaries. So then when those kids come, then it just circulated all around junior high. So it was like, 600 people just in 7th and 8th grade alone. My best friends turned on me and started making fun of me for it. And dude, that was just like the darkest. I was gonna bring a gun to school and shoot people. Like, I remember that was like a major thought that I had in my head. And I remember they even searched my locker and all that stuff. but God was there, you know what I mean? Like, he was definitely there.
So you were more hurt by the betrayal of your friends.
I was more hurt of every way and
Yeah.
of all of it, dude. I lost my mom because she became an addict over it, and then so like my stability, my mom didn't know how to handle it, so she started using crack, and then it was about that time my family started handing me drugs. You know, I was smoking weed at 11, the same age. Then it moved to meth. My aunt was giving me meth at 13. Cousins, whatnot, and it just, you know, it was a downward spiral. But
Meth at 13.
meth at 13, dude. You know what? And it's by God's grace that I'm still here. You know, like I said, I've had all these crazy ideas. I've contemplated suicide. I wasn't always into hurting myself. I would rather hurt other people besides just myself to take the aggression out.
Yeah.
But, you know, God kept me from doing that.
I feel like we had to go through these kinds of things, like God allowed us to, so we could use it to help others. Kind of like the disciples, how they were all different things and different lifestyles. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like He lets us go through some of these things so we can use it to help others. Like, anytime I give my testimony, I always pray, like, God, give me the words for whoever's in this audience that needs to hear it or whatever I'm doing. Like,
Yeah.
always, like, and I feel like if I can use my past to help even one person, then it wasn't for nothing. It wasn't wasted time.
Exactly. Now, full circle, those same kids that hurt me, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and all that. Now I love kids. Like, you know, I would like to maybe not be a youth pastor, but mentor kids or lead kids, you know, in some form, even if it was just coaching like Little League or whatnot. We're all the time taking her nieces and nephews or,
He's
you
amazing with kids.
know,
Yeah.
so like she said, God uses that. It's the whole Genesis 50:20. I believe that's the verse. But you know what Satan used for bad, God will turn around and use for good. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
it's just a complete 180, bro. And now it's like she said, those experiences we can give back. You know.
Yeah.
Like how my chaplain's the one that found me in jail and just wouldn't let go. Like, it's so cool. She's like gets to see all the fruits of her labor.
Yeah.
Cause like now I'm getting ready. I meet with her tomorrow for coffee because I got approved to go into the jail and do jail ministry too.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
and-
that's awesome. I've always
Full
wanted to do
circle,
that.
bro.
Yeah. And then, and she happened to, so I'm gonna do that and go like cell to cell and stuff, hand out Bible studies and talk
Oh my
to the
gosh.
ladies. And
Yeah.
it's gonna be weird going in from the outside.
Get
But-
to leave. Yeah.
yeah. But she's got to see everything full circle. Like even River being born, I could only have 2 visitors a day and I'd already had my 2. And she happened to be there with her mom for like a day surgery thing or something like that. And she got to sneak upstairs and see her before anybody else.
Oh, that's awesome.
You
Yeah.
want some more puffs?
That's great. Catfish, what I was thinking too, some of the things like the drugs that we've used, they take a toll on us mentally, especially like methamphetamine and stuff. Has God healed? Because there's certain things that last. Have you felt God heal that, though, all those tricks that were going on in your mind? Or
I'm proclaiming I'm healed because
Yeah.
he says that I am, but I still notice some residual side effects from it.
yeah,
Sometimes, like paranoia and you know just stuff like that.
same.
But it's not. It's nowhere like it used to be, and like so I know it's a work in progress. It's happening, you know. But yeah, dude, it ain't no joke, you know. That lifestyle. It took years and years and years and years of my life, you know, using these drugs and building up to it. So for it to all just go away and one day, now I'm not saying God can't do it because I know He can. Maybe like Paul had his thorn in his side, you know, I still got some of
Yeah.
these thorns that are in my side, but so much better than where it was. And just, it also helps to have someone that's understanding.
Yeah, true.
Because like when I go to act crazy, like she'll pull me right back in,
Yeah.
and she like pulls me back in. So I need that though, because
Yeah.
like you know how I was at the center. I was wild, you know, just running around. I did what I wanted to do. It was hard to it was hard to let someone else tell me what to do, or to follow that direction, that rule, that guidance. And that's the biggest thing. Like that's who grounds me when I want to act up, I guess.
Yeah. It's funny that we learn stuff by like trials, by fire. Like you learn those patience and stuff by like going through some tough stuff.
Nope.
Yeah.
Teen
Never pray
challenges.
for patience.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get.
How'd you both hear about Teen Challenge? Or you heard about it in the jail?
Yep, from a chaplain.
In jail.
Same thing.
And yep, we had this guy named Pastor Tim McLaughlin from Tennessee, and he ran a teen challenge down there. We had 2 of them, but he liked to send people up here, and I could see why. If I would have went to one down home, I wouldn't have stayed. I would have left. I would have had someone pick me up, and I would have been gone. But up here, I was 4 states away. Nobody up here. Next closest person was Dayton, Ohio. So and they weren't coming to pick me up.
Yeah.
My family was a mile from the center.
Oh, were they? Was that tempting to wanna?
Well, like, honestly, I just wanted my family back so much, and like I just I was tired of my mess, and my family wasn't talking to me. My grandma did. Really, I had that praying grandma, and she was the closest one to there, and my mom was just up the road, but they weren't really talking to me yet, so it wasn't too tempting, and like my grandma was so proud of me.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, like I knew God was working in me there. Like I knew stuff was going on, like, you know, I knew it was getting better, like.
Was there a moment when your family saw it and that you recognized they saw it?
Yeah, they all came for my birthday in December, and like, it was just a whole different story. Like they wouldn't help me at all in jail or even before that, but like once they seen that, they ended up getting me Christmas presents, and they just started visiting a little bit and helping me out and stuff. Like, gave me money for my 3-day and 5-day, which never would have happened before that. Like,
That's awesome. You talked about sharing your testimony.
Yep.
You got an opportunity to do that.
Yep. Going into
What's that like?
I actually really like giving my testimony because it's accountability too. Like just helping people and seeing others, and like I don't know. There's just something about helping others that just really helps recovery. Like, but I'm always gonna work my recovery too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's super important.
What's that saying? In order to keep what you have, you must give it away.
Yeah. I just read that yesterday.
Not like that, but I've heard the concept.
Yeah. It's real.
Yeah.
Because you're helping someone else with your experiences, or you hope you are anyways. But really, it's helping you too. Like releasing it and getting it off your chest, and like.
Gives sorry, go ahead.
If you just talk it out, like just hearing the words, you know what I mean? Hearing the stuff that kind of gives life to the situation, or gives
like reinstills it or restates it.
Yeah.
Like when you said that your belief, or you were talking about your thoughts, and you said I'm speaking. I don't know how you put it.
I'm proclaiming it.
You're proclaiming that. Yeah.
I'm proclaiming it. I'm healed. Yeah.
That is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
I think that was the thing about Teen Challenge that I learned too. Is like, when you go and share, it is like you're proclaiming that over it. Yeah. And maybe it doesn't feel like it in the moment. Maybe a lot of moments it doesn't feel like we're.
Dude, there's a lot of moments I don't feel like God's working, but I know He is.
Yeah.
I have the faith. Like I know He is moving behind this stuff. Like, again, Genesis 50:20. What Satan will use for evil, God will use that same stuff for good. We was just talking about it. People with those negative traits. They're not really negative traits. They were just using their traits in the wrong way for negative outcomes. But if we say a person, I always told people that on the rallies, I went from cooking meth to cooking in the kitchen for like 80 people at Teen Challenge, like I was just using my talents in a different way.
Right.
By all means, she's the cook.
God-given talents.
God-given talents, dude, but He also gives us free will, and how we use those talents, it's on us. I just hope people start, using it for the good, and I pray that I use mine for the good, because I know where I was at in the bad, and it's nowhere where I want to be.
We're so far from it, thankfully, like, I don't know, like, there's always that chance of falling, but, like, it just seems like that wasn't even my life before.
Yeah.
Like, it's so different now.
Yeah.
Like even before I got into stuff, like my life's better than even before.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, God is fully restored plus more, right?
Yeah.
Plus more.
Plus way more.
Catfish, you said you worked with guys in the kitchen. What's it like working with guys going through the same thing, but also like, all serving God and honoring God? We're trying to.
Yeah.
That's me.
In the kitchen, it was good, especially when you get a good group of guys, you know, because we'd go in there and we'd be reciting Bible verses to each other and helping each other study and just all that. Because, you know, in the kitchen, we had a lot of free time. You know, we'd be in there, but we just had to make sure stuff was getting cooked right, and be there to take it out when the oven was done or something. So we had free time, and it's how we was using our free time. And you could tell as the further along in the program we got, because our conversations would get deeper and more about God, as to where at first it might have been secular or maybe nothing too bad, but it wasn't where it needed to be.
Yeah.
And then you could tell, like, as we went further and further along with the same core guys in there, that it was advancing, just like our relationships with God were advancing.
Yeah.
And so that was a cool thing to watch. And I still had my problems in there too. Like, dude, I didn't start to settle down until 10, 11 months. Dude, I tell you, I was 11 and a half months in, and I still got an all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, dug my grave twice, and yeah. So,
what was that experience like?
I got in trouble the first grave I dug because I dug it too deep and too wide.
So wait, they had you dig a grave, but what are they trying to do there? Like, what's that even about?
I feel like I was supposed to, like, physical punishment, you know, like physical labor for the punishment, but in the same time you're burying the old man, like that man that committed that crime or that offense. We're supposed to bury him dead and gone. That's how I thought about it too. I was thinking, like, you know, I laid me down to rest. And the first hole that I dug, I threw something that I brought from home with me, and I threw it in the hole
Like
and buried it over. Yeah,
Yeah.
symbolism, you know. And you remember Greg?
Yeah.
Greg come by. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm digging my grave." He's like, "No, you're not." So I had to fill it back in.
Yeah. Was the thing to dig a grave or just a hole? And then you said it was a grave?
They said no. Well, they told it was you're going to dig your own grave.
Too. Yeah.
And yeah, but dude, I had water pouring up at the bottom of the hole. Like, I was so deep, bro. It was like it was filling with water. I don't know if I was on the septic line.
Did you lay in it?
Yeah, bro, it was bad.
Did you lay in your own grave?
Yeah. I did sit in it. I didn't lay in it. Like I said, there was like this much water in the bottom of it, and yeah. RJ come out there. He's like, "Dude, you're gonna kill yourself. Just quit. Sit down for a minute." It was like 80 degrees out. Just killing it. Just going hard, bro. Yeah. Stubborn. Yeah. I mean, they weren't gonna break my spirit. You know.
One thing I think I might have mentioned it, but I always knew you were putting effort towards, and like no matter where you were, like even if you were saying you were in trouble, I could always see the effort that you put behind serving God. And like you could see it in the guys around you too. Like everyone loves you, you know, who like come in contact with you. I know you, like there's frustration with everyone, but it was something that was very clear.
I appreciate that, dude.
Yeah.
Because I struggle accepting that love, you know, or even thinking about you, even her, like I'm all the time, you're like, "Sure you love me?
Yeah.
I love you," you know what I mean? So it's like, but I think that's like some of those roots that goes back to when I was, you know, that stuff happened as a kid and made fun of here and there, so I'm just thinking constantly on guard.
Yeah.
The only place I'm going with that whole thing was, dude, thanks, that means a lot for real.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Like,
you talked about memorizing scripture too. That was something you always were, I feel like you were throwing around a lot of scripture.
Yeah.
Is there one that you guys both maybe would stand on or something that encourages you?
Yeah, 1 Corinthians 15:58, it says, "Finally, beloved brethren, I beseech you, be steadfast and unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as we know our labor is never in vain." And it's just like you said, always work hard towards it, bro.
Yeah.
And but another one to go with that is Colossians 3:23. You know, whatever you do, do wholeheartedly unto the Lord. So, digging my grave, boom, I'm going hard at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like talking to people, I'm 110. I'm gonna go hard. I believe in the work, You gotta work, dude. You can expect God to come through, Jehovah Jireh. He will provide, but you gotta be willing to put in the work, the effort, the steps, you know. And when we're not able to take a step, that's when He comes along and carries us. But we gotta be willing to put in the work if we expect any change to happen.
True. I feel like that's a lot of my prayers to God too. It's like that time where I need that Him to give me a step or something.
Bro, and we all need that step. Or whatever it is that He does to us. Yeah, bro, you know. But He's there with us.
Yeah.
The whole time, dude. The whole time.
What's it like being a father now? Like a Christian father too? Like, where do you see?
My values have definitely changed. I look at women. Not that I like objectified women before necessarily, but I can definitely see like my whole outlook and. Just, dude, I'm a girl dad. Like,
yeah, he never thought
I would be that way, dude. But I am a girl dad, and even with my oldest, like I see guys like checking my oldest out. She looks too
she
looks like she's 14, 15. She's 11, dude, and I gotta like, and it hurts my heart because I know how these guys are. I was one of these guys, and so it's like it definitely keeps me on my toes for that stuff. But dude, I wouldn't trade this for nothing. God has given me everything plus some. Like, this is a blessing. She is the biggest blessing.
He's more of a helicopter parent than I am.
I am, bro.
What's a helicopter parent?
Like hovering. On top of them. Yeah. He's always worrying about everything.
Sammy, what was it like learning about Christ around a bunch of females, ladies?
What, girls?
I was always like real tough and like had this wall up and like I don't know how to describe it, but like I was just like shut down to other women and stuff like that. But
did they ever break through?
Yeah, slowly but surely. Like my best friend died while I was in there, and like I just remember the women all coming alongside me. Like that was a huge moment for me, and like even just like Kelly, my one friend there, she just listened. Yeah. And like that was, I just remember that, like, you know, because you know, people always try to say stuff, make you feel better, but she just listened, and like that meant so much to me, and like just that kind of love there. Like at first I was like, absolutely not, but
yeah.
And like it was amazing, like just connecting with people. Like my whole life I've never really gotten along with that many girls and stuff, and like even now I do. Yeah. And like I just remember it was like slowly but surely breaking through. And like I just got showered in so much love.
Yeah. What was worship like at Teen Challenge? Or how do you guys feel about worship in general?
I love it.
Yeah.
Our church has an amazing worship team.
Yeah. They do actually. Or you guys go to Turning Point, right?
Yep.
They have a fire worship.
Yes, they do. In fact, I think they branched out and did their own thing. It's called Purpose with Authority.
Oh yeah,
bro, and they're legit fire. Like, and
maybe they would talk to me. Huh?
Yeah,
maybe.
Dude, I bet they would.
They're always at Project 714 praying, like singing at Sister Christy's thing.
Yeah.
No. Yep. You should definitely get a hold of them, check them out, or we can slip a word into them.
Yeah.
They have 6 p.m. worship on Sundays.
6 p.m. worship every Sunday.
Every Sunday. That's at the 714 Sister Christy's Church. Okay. And that's on what, Apple or 120?
M120 now.
So on M120.
Okay. Well, it's cool to see like other people that have gone through some hard things, like still leading people to Christ.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Sister Christy is so good. Or it's like, to me, like, she is anointed, knows how to get people.
Yes.
She's a great worship leader.
Talk about a lady using her talents in the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's who slayed me in the spirit.
Yeah.
Like, she was praying over me and down I went. I always thought it was fake before that.
Yeah, okay, so she was praying for you.
Yeah.
And the Spirit of God came over you in such a way.
Yep, I ended up going down and like...
Caused you to fall.
Yep.
Slain in the Spirit, they call it.
Yep, and then all of a sudden, like, I could speak in tongues, and like, like when he was talking about them all praying, like, I could feel it, just, it was so powerful, like...
Yeah.
And that church service is like one of those ones where it just goes on, and they have everybody praying for and slaying everybody, like, it was like one of those, and
yeah.
It was amazing.
I miss that, bro.
Yeah, me too.
I miss that setting of...
They got Friday morning chapels again.
Yeah, we should all get together and do
Yeah,
that.
I would go for sure.
That'd be so
For
much
real,
fun.
I would even take vacation day to do that.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do something like that.
It'd be sweet to see everyone again. Dude, Grand Rapids, I go to Grand Rapids first. And they got a pretty wild worship.
That is so big, bro. That is huge.
Wow, it's
what do you
cool to
think about a
see.
big church?
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I think people say you can get lost in it,
Yeah.
but I haven't had that experience at all. Literally, people there were like the nicest. Like, they received me like a brother. Like, literally, I walked in, and I was received immediately.
Didn't we do it? We did a banquet there too, right?
Yeah.
All right. It's a nice place. Very nice. Like, I think I went with someone else there one time too. I don't know if it was Christian. You remember
I think
Christian?
he goes there.
Yeah. All right. Then it was Christian. I think it was Christian.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great church. It's cool to see. Like, I didn't realize how many other believers were out. Like, when it feels so isolating sometimes to be a Christian. Like, you feel like you're the only one going through it.
Dude.
But
Good.
I was just gonna say it's wild when you see a whole auditorium or like a chapel full of people that's like all worshiping.
What?
You remember like you're not alone.
Yeah.
So, like, I was at work the other day, sitting on the picnic table, and I work in a foundry, you know, so it's a bunch of roughneck, wild people, and drugs go through the place. People go through there, and like, I never deny Christ. So people see the Bible in my truck and ask me about it, and I'll like offer them to go to church, or you know, like,
Got one.
read. So I'm sitting at the table the other day, and this guy was like, he's listening to his music, but real quiet, and I think it was a song "I Ran Out of My Grave." It was playing on his phone, and I just started singing it, bro. I was like, bro, we used to sing that on rally. And dude looked at me all weird, and I was like, your song. And then I started singing it, so he knew, like, I actually knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, wow, you listen to that? So it was cool, because, like, I found another believer. And in fact, like, I think we're going to meet up for church service one Friday night at his church.
Yeah.
But it was just cool, because we're not alone, dude. There's more people out there, like, I just wish it was talked about more.
Yeah.
Because, like, we're getting maybe persecuted, or maybe not even persecuted, but made fun of, or, you know, people always try to step on a believer and, like, you know, shoot it down or whatnot, and it sucks, because there's more of us out there than what we realize.
I had that at Burger King, because I talk about God everywhere I go. Like, my mentor, I would say, really, Amy, she's always said from day one, she's like, never lie about your past or being an addict or any of that stuff, because it gives you an opportunity to hide if you do fall again. And like, because if people know you're that way and you start being different, like, they know, you know, if they know your past especially. And like, plus I just like talking about that. Like, I just, everywhere, I'm just so grateful for everything. Thankful.
Yeah.
I just talk about him so much that, like, even at my old work, I had, like, 2 girls, they hated it because me and the other lady would just be talking and all sorts of stuff about God, and they'd hate it because they didn't believe.
Yeah.
But, like, so they'd always go, like, somewhere else in the store.
Yeah.
But, like, so, like, I mean, I see what he's talking about. There's non-believers, but, you know.
It's cool that it doesn't feel forced. Like, it sounds like you're, like, it just comes up.
Yeah.
And I do like that, too. Like, do you feel like it takes a certain boldness to go to talk to some people about it, or?
Yes.
Yeah. Some people it is intimidating.
It's getting over yourself, though, I think.
Oh,
It's like putting yourself aside and, you know, being led by the Spirit. Because he leads us. It's whether or not we listen, if we answer the call.
Dude, Josh Griffith he just talked about how, like, a sacrifice, that God finds joy, like, the more you sacrifice yourself. Like, so in those moments that it's like, man, you feel kind of shy about it, but then you lay it down, like, that God has such joy in that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
When he said that, it just, like, it connected.
Because that's like walking in faith. You know what I mean? That's taking those steps where you don't know what's going to happen, but you believe that it's for a reason. So it doesn't matter what happens. You're blindly following.
True.
It doesn't matter what happens as long as you listen to God.
Yeah. I did have a question for you, Sami. It's about catfish. And I know there are things, like, say, in a relationship, are there certain things that you're attracted to about catfish that stem from his past? Like, I know he's a new person, but, like, isn't that kind of what is appealing also? Or maybe that he overcame that?
Yeah, and, like, just that we both had, like, the same experiences, like Teen Challenge and then Hope Harbor Hall.
Yeah.
Like, that's what made it easy to connect that first. But,
Oh, okay.
the more we talk, like, just, and the more we have we have so much in common, it does make it easier to understand each other too. Like, like when he's like being paranoid and stuff, like understanding it, because I, you know, use meth too, and like I just know there's little things sometimes that from that, and like it really does help having somebody that has the same past and understands.
The coolest thing about that though,
is
our relationship started like in a Christ-like way. Like our first date was to a Bible study out at Shiloh Tabernacle. Before she even knew my meth addict past or any of that stuff. We had talked about Teen Challenge, I believe, when we was texting before we had went, but then when we actually went on the date, then we actually started finding out about our past, like, and where we'd come from, and putting the two and two together, like, because all the programs, we went to the same stuff. She went to Teen Challenge, but never at the same time, like she was saying earlier. Like, I was a year behind her in every which way, but it was the exact same steps in the process. Boom, boom, boom. And then, I truly believe God led me up here for a reason. Like, he gave me my family.
He said he was hooked after seeing me worship.
Yeah, bro.
There is something about that. It's like,
it was definitely, it was attractive. You know? Like giving it her all. It just, yes, baby.
Dude, so something about, I was glad that you shared about, you know, maybe the paranoia stuff too, and because to bring light to that stuff, like I think the devil will use that stuff when we don't share to like beat us up over that and to make us think like, like we're alone, like we're saying, but to bring it out and bring light to it, I think that's gonna help someone, you know?
And I think it diminishes it. Like my paranoia, I know it's kept me from opportunities before, like where I wouldn't step out in faith because I start questioning myself, or like, oh, I'm not good enough, or what are they going to think, or this, that, or whatever the reason may be. And I know there's been opportunities that I've missed out on for the Lord because of that, and it sucks. So I try not to, you know, I try to step out of it, but when you talk about it, or, you know, just like when you speak those words, God spoke those words and the earth was created. You know, there's power in words. It tells us to watch what we say because we're going to be held accountable for all of these words that we speak.
That cuts me deep.
Bro, it hurts me, bro, because, like, you know, I'd go 100 miles an hour talking just to hear myself talk sometimes. And I'm going to be held accountable for that stuff. But when we do talk about it and bring it to light, I feel like it diminishes. It takes away that power that he was trying to hold over on us. You know, I really feel that.
Where did you learn about the power of all this stuff? Like, where do you think?
Where did I learn about it?
Yeah, like how did you come to this knowledge? Not everyone has this stuff, you know.
Teen Challenge, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I've always heard about the words and like about how they hold weight. There's weight to it, but I never really knew how much weight they carried until Teen Challenge, when you start like digging into the word and all that. And it's like there's so much stuff that it breaks down in the Bible. I wish I would have started sooner, but I'm glad I started when I did. You know what I mean? It was God's timing, but I wish I would have had a whole lifetime of being in the Word and preparing and all that. Because who knows though? You know, it's God's timing. Because maybe we wouldn't be sitting here in my living room, you know, doing all this stuff. So
now full circle. You got your own place. Got your own family. You have hope. You didn't have that, right? No, I didn't for a long time.
Nothing. I thought I was gonna die. I thought I'd been dead before I was 30. And I would have been okay with that because I didn't have nothing. I was a loser, bro.
But now you feel differently.
Oh, bro, I got the world. I was like just sitting on this couch with me. I got the world, and But more than that, you know, I got salvation. Like I'm redeemed and I'm forgiven, redeemed. It's like, look at that little thing.
Going to town.
We've been ending with doing lift ups, and you can't lift me up, but I'd like you guys to both do a lift up. Maybe you can lift up each other. Is there something maybe about, remember lift ups we do at TC? It would be
I remember the lift ups. How's it go? Give me an example.
Just be maybe just pointing something out about someone that you appreciate or that you've seen in them. You know,
I'll go first. I got this. Alright, Miss Sammy Reagan, I want to lift you up because no matter how bad my day is, that you always, when I come home, you got a clean house for me and some food, and you lift me up no matter how much stuff you got going on in your day. You always brighten my day up.
Thank you.
Woo!
Yeah.
I love hearing that stuff.
Take a breath. I just lift you up for how much you love us. Like, you love us so much. Like, just her and my older daughter. Like, she's your daughter too now. And, like, just how much you love us and just want the best for us and take care of us and just all of that.
Yeah.
You kill yourself at the factory, like, just to do everything for us.
Thank you. It's awesome. Thank you guys for doing this. I think I'm encouraged. I've told you I'm encouraged just talking to you, and you've been there for me when I needed. And I can't even stress that enough. Like, when you need something, dude, and someone comes along and provides, that's been a cool thing. And it's like, it's not a tangible thing either. It's like not, it's been literally a hand on the shoulder, you know? Or like, that's what it's been. So it's a cool thing. And maybe I'd never have seen stuff like that before God. You know, maybe I wasn't looking. But I've been given what I needed when I needed it. And it was God's hand, and He used you to do it. So thank you both.
Yeah,
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Love you.
Woo!
All right.